Hi, welcome to our keynote on the Automatic Updates Initiative. Sorry, advancing slides. I'm Ted Bowman. I'm a principal software engineer at Acquia at the Drupal acceleration team. I'm the co-maintainer of the layup builder and settings tray modules in Drupal core. You can find me on drupal.org at tedbo or Twitter on the same username.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Radcliffe. I'm happy to join with the Auto Updates and Bug Smash initiatives here at DrupalCon as a mentor and one of the Drupal core mentoring coordinators. Thank you, Ted.
There's been a lot of people working on the initiative, but particularly for this keynote and a technical overview we'll have later, it's really been a collaborative effort getting all the content together. So I definitely like to thank all these great people who aren't up here presenting. I'll take all the blame if it's bad. If it's great, you can credit them. First, we're going to look at why automatic updates are important generally and why they're important for Drupal right now. Keeping up with Drupal updates is expensive. I think that's not hard to figure out. Although not every site needs to install every patch update, all site owners need to have staff available for possible monthly security windows. This means every site owner needs to have staff with Drupal expertise or a Drupal agency on hand to apply these security updates. Some sites will need to have extra staff on hand, and other sites will need to take time from existing staff that they could otherwise be used for new development. When we think about not having time or money to apply security updates, we also have to think about worst-case scenarios. One example of a worst-case scenario is what happened with the Panama Papers incident in 2016. This internationally famous leak of 11.5 million of a law firm's private files exposed significant financial and political corruption worldwide. It was most likely caused by exploiting both Drupal and WordPress sites that were not updated to the latest security releases. This means the law firm was running a version of Drupal known to have security vulnerabilities. The law firm eventually had to shut down as a result of the incident. You probably don't want the same thing happening to your site or its private data. One of the main benefits of open source software is that we can work together to find and fix security vulnerabilities. Unfortunately, once the fix is published, it's a race between site owners and bad actors who will try to figure out how to exploit the vulnerability on sites that haven't been updated. The quicker we can get our sites updated, the more secure our sites will be. The Automatic Updates initiative will allow updating the newest security release as soon as it comes out, whether you have Drupal experts on staff or not. Unfortunately, we know that many Drupal sites are slow to update to the latest security releases. We can see here that less than half of sites have updated to the most recent security advisory on January 20th, already 3 months ago. The fastest we've ever seen site owners update was after a highly critical public service announcement and release in 2018. More than 50% of site owners updated within 4 weeks. Unfortunately, the vulnerability was exploited within 2 weeks. Now, as always, one thing to keep in mind is that in the case of a critical security release like this, many experienced site owners will simply apply the patch containing the fix and then update to the release later. We have no way of knowing exactly how many sites do that, but it's definitely not all or even most sites. The open source survey that GitHub runs asks users what their top priorities for open source software are, comparing traits like security, user experience, and support. Year after year, security and stability are the highest ranked answers. So we can see the security that automatic updates will provide is not only important for existing Drupal users, but also could be a deciding factor in potential users evaluating Drupal. In Drupal's own 2020 product survey, respondents were asked to rank the single most important improvement for Drupal's ongoing success. This graph only shows the top 6 responses here, but we can see that auto updates was picked by far the most. In fact, nearly twice as many picked it as the next most common answer, which was better support, documentation, and training. Now let's look at the goals of the Automatic Update Initiative. The basic goal for the Automatic Updates Initiative is to provide a secure user interface for automatically updating Drupal core and modules along with their composer dependencies without breaking the live site. Let's break that down and look at the various elements, why they are important, and how they will be accomplished. So first off, what does secure mean and why is it important? One of Drupal's selling points is that it is known as a secure platform with an excellent security team. Although there are many advantages to having an automatic update system, these systems themselves become an attractive target for malicious hackers. If you can compromise the update system itself, you can compromise many more sites than you could by attacking sites one at a time. One recent high-profile example of an attack that included compromising an automatic update system was the SolarWinds attack. In this attack, cybercriminals were able to corrupt updates that went to the U.S. government customers in the executive branch, military, and intelligence services. With Drupal used by so many high-profile sites around the world, our future automatic update system must be as secure as possible against attacks like this. For this reason, we have decided we should not invent a system of our own, but instead build upon an existing widely used system. We have chosen the update framework, also known as TUF, which is a widely used specification for creating a secure update system. For instance, an implementation of the update framework is used by the automotive-grade Linux initiative, supported by many car and car component manufacturers. A car you own or car you have ridden in may have components that are updated using this specification. Our use of the update framework will include a new client PHP implementation used by Drupal core and a server-side implementation using an existing Python TUF library to sign packages on Drupal.org infrastructure. The first goal of our initiative is to provide attended and unattended updates for Drupal core. In this initial version, we will enable bug fix and security releases with the updater. Contributed module updates will be supported in the future. Composer is the modern way to manage PHP packages, and it is the recommended way to update Drupal. The updater will leverage Composer so that required Composer dependencies updates for sites can be done with a single command. We are collaborating with the Composer maintainers on recommendations for this updater and have proposed that someday it could even be supported natively or on packages. As anyone knows who has ever updated Drupal or any other software, updates break things. For this reason, we are implementing several features to make updates safer. Before and after we download an update, we run a series of readiness checks to ensure that the site is in a good state to be updated. For example, core hasn't been hacked, the site is on the latest supported version, and there's enough disk space for the update. These checks run periodically to ensure any problems that would stop you from updating safely are detected before it's time to install a security release. The Composer updates are downloaded to a temporary folder before they are verified, both to ensure that the Composer command can be completed safely and to ensure that all packages are correctly signed through the update framework. Once the update is known to be safe, the update can either be deployed automatically or the site owner can run a single command to complete the deployment after verifying everything's as it should be. Let's look at the progress we have made so far on various elements. The automatic update initiative is comprised of many different areas of work. Some of these are in Drupal core, some are in independent libraries, and some work will be needed on Drupal.org infrastructure. Let's start with the displaying of highly critical security announcements within Drupal core. This is the feature that is closest to done and can be considered a precursor to automatic updates. Currently, Drupal will tell you if your site needs to update to a security release, but Drupal.org in some cases provides advance warning if a highly critical security release will happen soon for Drupal core or contributed modules. This information is not currently available within Drupal itself. Once this feature is committed, Drupal will provide these announcements in the admin interface. These announcements are not issued for every security release, but only for the most highly critical, the type that only happen once every couple of years when mass exploits are expected. This is a feature that will be great to have, but hopefully you won't see these announcements anytime soon, even after the feature is added. The issue is very close. It was originally intended to be added to the update module, but it was decided that enough sites don't leave the update module enabled. So we agreed this feature is a better fit for the system module to ensure as many sites as possible will receive these critical announcements. They can be disabled with a configuration flag if necessary, but the feature is opt-out. Now let's look at package verification. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be creating an implementation of the update framework to make sure updates are secure. We are further along on the client-side work. The server-side work that will reside on Drupal.org infrastructure is in the planning stage, and a proof of concept is being created. The client-side work itself is further split into two libraries. One is a generic update framework client library, and one is a library to integrate that work into Composer via a Composer plugin. We are further along on the Tough client library, but have been making great progress recently on the Composer plugin. The new client implementation of the Tough framework is not a Drupal-specific library. We have been talking with developers from Joomla and Typo3 who may also use this library for their updates. This library can be used whether or not an application is using Composer. Drupal core will not call the library directly, but instead will use it indirectly through a Composer plugin we are also creating. To integrate the library, we're creating the PHP Tough Composer integration plugin. It ensures that all Composer downloads are secure. In addition to securing the package downloads themselves, like Drupal core releases, it will also secure Composer metadata downloads that inform Composer which releases are available for different packages, including Drupal and other vendor dependencies. This will ensure that our updater is not susceptible to attacks that attempt to trick Drupal into downloading packages with known vulnerabilities. But the way Composer internals currently work, it is proving tricky for our plugin to download files securely for all downloads in Composer that we will need to do to integrate with the PHP Tough library. The Composer maintainers have been very responsive in making earlier changes we needed for Composer integration, so we approached the Composer maintainers about adding the update framework support directly into Composer or giving us advice on how to do this in a plugin. For various valid reasons, the Composer maintainers are not currently interested in adding PHP Tough support directly into Composer. They did, though, provide great feedback on our approach and suggested some changes which could be made to Composer that would make our plugin much less convoluted. With this feedback from the Composer maintainers, we created a number of pull requests against Composer that makes our PHP Tough integration much simpler. Some of these have already been merged within the last week, and some are in progress. As we were developing our Composer plugin, we realized that the problem of integrating the update framework into a package manager is not unique to PHP Composer. We had already connected with the maintainers of the update framework when we started to work on the PHP Tough library, and they had proven to be a great resource. We reached out to them again because they also were working on integrating the update framework into the Python package index. They provided great guidance and confirmed we were on the right track in making sure we secured both the package metadata and package files themselves. Our Tough client will connect to the Tough server that will be hosted on Drupal.org infrastructure. This repo will be responsible for creating signatures for all Drupal releases and any vendor releases that will be required for our updates. Eventually, it would be great to have Tough signatures built in directly to packages infrastructure. Although there will need to be custom development for signing these packages, we will be able to use the existing Python library to accomplish this. Next, let's look at the readiness checks. We're pretty close in this issue that will create the Readiness Check API in the first readiness checker. After this is committed, we will create individual readiness checkers for things like file permissions and whether the Composer lock file is currently up to date. There are many readiness checks in the automatic updates contrib module. Some of these will need to be ported to core, but some will not apply because the contrib module is tarball based and the core solution will work via Composer. We have started to work on the core UI that will integrate the other components into Drupal core. We will need a UI to configure the automatic updates and apply the updates when the site administrator wants to do them in an attended way instead of automatically via cron. We will also have UI changes to display the output of the readiness checks to the site administrators. Finally, we've just started to work on the Composer update staging. After consulting with the Composer maintainers again, we have changed this from a Composer plugin to a Symfony console application at their suggestion. Finally, just briefly before we wrap up and go on to today's upcoming content, yesterday in the Dries note, Dries proposed a new strategic initiative for a Drupal project browser in Drupal core. so that site owners can easily find the contributed modules and themes that make Drupal awesome. A lot of folks are really excited about this proposal and wanted to know how to help. There's lots of work to do on the design and implementation, but right now, one of the best ways to accelerate this proposal is to help the Automatic Updates initiative. In order for the project browser to easily, safely, and securely add modules to a Drupal site, it will need to rely on the tools we are building for automatic updates. So if you're excited about the project browser as the rest of the community, listen to Matthew introduce the sessions and the contribution time for the rest of today's Automatic Updates Strategic Initiative Day.
Thank you, Ted. So there are so many great sessions today. Sessions like the questions and answers session with the Drupal Association, and there's a session to learn how diverse teams are better teams and how to upgrade to Drupal 9 using Migrate API. Among all these are sessions related to the Automated Updates initiative. So how can we learn more about these technologies that Ted mentioned previously? Next slide. First off, immediately following the keynote, look for the Q&A initiative keynote session. The Auto Updates initiative team will be available to answer questions about your concerns, goals, and progress in Hop-In Room 2. After the keynote Q&A, where do we start? So we suggest attending Marina and Joshua's session, Securing PHP Package Repositories with the Update Framework, or TUF, at 12:15. Here we can learn about TUF and the collaboration with the PHP TUF and the Drupal project. Finally, we highly suggest attending our core conversation, Automatic Updates, Technical Overview, and Where You Can Help at 14:20 in Hop-In Room 2. We'll learn more about our architecture and find out how you can help. We're especially looking for, but not limited to, security expertise, composer expertise, Python knowledge, and user experience and design expertise. Before this, to further explore and expand our knowledge about updates, we are happy to learn about alternative automatable update solutions for composer projects with Eric in his session, Less Human Interaction, More Security, at 12:15 in Hop-In Room 1. We are not using Violinist as part of Core's auto update architecture, but we still thought this might be of interest to site owners with advanced requirements. But that's not all. Today we highlight and encourage you to also learn and participate in the Bug Smash initiative. Bug Smash is a community-driven initiative where Drupal users identify, triage, and resolve issues important to us now in the Drupal project. Drupal users from around the world, such as Kristen, Lee, Jabran, Mohit, Len, Hansa, and many more, have smashed over 1,024 bugs as of this morning. Join Lee in his introduction to the Bug Smash initiative at 14:45 in Hop-In Room 5. This will include steps that the community here has used to resolve bug reports in Drupal more efficiently as a team. Could your bug be next? To have this big impact, to achieve our amazing digital experiences, we need you. It is only you, with your diverse backgrounds and experiences, that we will accomplish the #1 requested feature in Drupal, automated updates. So let's contribute with the Automatic Updates and Bug Smash initiatives going forward. Today, we would like to focus on the following. We want to work together to resolve Drupal core bugs by following steps provided by the Bug Smash initiative team. And we want to meet you and introduce you to the Automatic Updates initiative team and become familiar with the roadmap, the PHP TUF project, and the Composer Staging project. So what does this mean and where can we get started? For Automatic Updates, we're particularly looking for anyone who might be interested in contributing a few hours each month for the rest of the year. We especially need contributors with security expertise, composer expertise, Python knowledge, and user experience or design skills. In Bug Smash, you'll find out all about how to do that in Lee's session that I mentioned previously. And I know this is a big ask, but we are here to help. The Automatic Updates and Bug Smash initiatives, along with the Drupal core mentors, want and encourage you to help today at 3 p.m. or 1500 Eastern or 1900 UTC. If you have not joined in the contribution events this week, here's how to get started today. First, register and join us at drupalcontributions.opensocial.site. Then register and join us on Drupal Slack by going to drupal.org/Slack. Join the auto updates, bug smash, and contribute channels. Going forward, we encourage you to participate in the next initiative meetings on Drupal Slack. Slack meetings are what we call asynchronous, where we can join at any time after a meeting starts for approximately 24 hours, where we're available to answer questions and share what we know. The next auto updates initiative meeting is on Thursday, April 20th. It begins at 1300 Eastern or 1700 UTC. And the Bug Smash Initiative meeting is Tuesday, May 11th, and it begins at 2400 EDT or 0400 UTC. So whether it is your first time contributing, you contributed for the first time on Tuesday or Wednesday, or you regularly contribute to Drupal, or wear a sombrero in your college dorm room with coding, marketing, writing skills, or whatever you have, whether it will be day or night for you at 1500 Eastern, we welcome everyone, and you can contribute to both of these initiatives. Thank you, Ted. And do we have any questions?
Muted. Yeah, we have time for some questions. I'm looking in the chat that we have access to, which doesn't have questions, and I'm going to open up the hop-in session. Sorry, we can't see the main session while we're doing this streaming, so I'm opening it up separately.
It looks like we're going to hold questions until the Q&A session, Ted.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thanks for attending. We'll, for all who's interested, we'll see you shortly at the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you.